Hello, Dave.
I don't know if you can hear me. I'm just looking for the mic. I don't know if it's on or not. Let me know if you can.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, cool. Hello, how you doing?
You alright?
Sorry, I saw the video on off. I couldn't see a mic on and off thing.
No worries, no worries.
So I assumed that it was off because it always is when I connect. How you doing?
I'm alright, not bad. Not bad. Yourself?
Yeah, very good, thanks. Just chilling.
Yeah, just cracking on with things. Yeah, I've started recording, but I'll edit the first bit out until people have joined.
Cool.
It's the good thing about MP4s is it's so easy to edit.
I haven't really done any video editing before. Been meaning to.
I don't do an awful lot. Glyn, that's part of Glyn's job is video editing, so he knows an awful lot.
Cool.
But all I know is MP4. The MP4 format allows you to trim the video without having to re-encode everything, which is pretty neat.
Nice. Yeah.
You're right, Adam. We can't hear you, or I can't hear you.
Yeah, I found the mute thing. It only pops up when you move your mouse pointer over the screen, which is why I couldn't see it before.
How about now? Can you hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Yep.
Ah, good.
It's nice of you to decide to join us.
Sorry.
A bit of a change of plans, is it?
No, me and the missus were watching The Alienist, but I told her I'd have to leave at 8, so I was kind of taking every minute while I can.
Fair enough. No worries. I mean, you know, you're under no obligation to come to these things if you don't want it.
No, it's okay. At least I definitely have 20 minutes before she gets annoyed at me.
Fair enough. These normally go for about an hour, but yeah.
I might have to shoot off a little bit early for that one.
We'll do you first then, shall we? But, what was I going to say? The recording has started on this. I said to Dave a second ago, I'll just chop out the first bit until everyone's arrived.
Dave, I'm loving your workshop, mate.
Yeah, it's my attic. It's basically my wife's finally moved in with me, so my bungalow, all of the junk that I have all over the house, has moved up into the attic. It's a complete mess, but yeah, I'm hoping to get it tidied up at some point. I just need to throw about 90% of it away, which is going to break my heart. But it'll be worth it just to have, well, not to
evening.
crap everywhere. Hello.
How you doing?
You alright?
Hey, Paul.
You alright? Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Good, good. Hey, Ken.
Ken, can you hear us?
Come in, Ken. Your time's up.
Earth to Ken. Please
Come
respond.
in, number 10.
Number Ken.
Yeah, it seems like you're at least picking up now. That's good. Right, how are we all doing? Are we good?
Yeah, not bad, thank you. Yourself?
Yeah, doing alright. Cracking on with things. We'll start with Adam, shall we? I know Adam wants to be cracking on with other things. So, have you been doing anything interesting this week, Adam? Any makes?
Usual. I'm trying to get a smart doorbell put into place, but I'm really struggling at getting something on Raspberry Pi that can render a video call. So tried Skype, but it seems to require an additional piece of software that's paid for. Even Teams or even WhatsApp. because I know those two could go on. What I wanted to do is essentially just trigger an outgoing call if anyone pushes a button, because then it can call my phone directly. Makes it work as a nice intercom, but really struggling with it at the moment. Outside of that, I've also been, just playing around with my new little temp spanners, which seem to be working really well.
Good.
I haven't had a chance to use them with any more work, but I'm sure there's going to be a leak at some stage in the bathtub that I've got to fix.
Yeah, it's a valuable learning experience, that.
It's also really quickly knocked up. I didn't even get a chance to put it in anything like Fusion. I literally just made a shape quickly in 3D Builder and just press print. So
keep it simple.
Yeah, exactly. That's what you want.
I think that's it. That wise, I do want to get back to work on the robot arm and the Iron Man suit inside the garage once I've unpacked it a little bit more. But now I'll do a little video tour of it at some stage.
Fair enough. Where are you at with the robot arm then?
It's all right. I've popped in a new stepper motor with a planetary gearbox, so it has a hell of a lot more torque on that main shoulder joint, which is where it was failing on. And I did do some minor tests with an Arduino with the I2C connections. So essentially, if anyone that doesn't know, I've got one Arduino that receives serial commands from the PC or whatever device I put onto it, and then it'll pump those set commands that are out via an IC2 connection to several other Arduinos, and those Arduinos then control a joint element. So it's got feedback as well as the stepper or servo, depending on what it's connected to. And that way it kind of isolates it, so you just tell the joint to move a certain number of degrees, but that joint can then be adjusted on its own little node.
Nice.
So it's a nice little module, basically. Then just takes I2C in and does the relevant move. Okay.
Exactly. I want to try and expand it later so I can just make the joint itself, where you have a power connection and the signal connection, like a giant servo, and just bolt it onto each other so it can kind of be a lot more modular then as well.
That's interesting.
But that's the
You'll have to try and share that code with us and the setup, because I imagine that kind of system would be useful in very many robotics applications.
I think what I wanted to do is put some little PID controllers on it and some DuPont connections where you can put bridging caps over it, so then you can alter it and give it different sub commands as well, so it'll know if it's a servo or not a stepper motor, so you can almost make it so it's a lot more adjustable, so if anything does fail you can switch it around.
Yeah, configuration pins and that kind of thing.
Exactly.
That's pretty pretty typical. Go on.
Yeah, I've also been trying to get my head around one of the Raspberry Pi 3A. For some reason, it's really struggling to get its Wi-Fi nodule working.
Is that the slightly squarer Raspberry Pi?
Yeah. Got it actually with me on the desk.
Ah.
So at the moment, I've got it working for the little Wi-Fi nodule with keyboard and mouse. And it's got Paul's very cool cameras that Paul recommended. Thanks for that one, Paul. Cool. But I'm trying to get this to run well, but it seems to... I don't know, it's like no matter what operating system I put on it, it's just struggling with the Wi-Fi nodule. I think it's hardware damage, but I might want to cheat and put ESP32 directly on it via the GPIO pins, because I saw someone online put a little bit of code on, and then that could do its own Wi-Fi without it interfering with the single USB connection. And the parrot's now joined me.
I'll set the PIRs off.
I have managed to finish up a few of the cameras. Actually, I think I can share them. Yeah, I'll do a screen share.
Sure.
I must warn you, might end up seeing my bold patch because
oh god,
at what angle I'm at, you can see it.
Just keep the clothes on.
They always look worse on camera, don't they?
Yeah, I think it's the light reflecting off them. Well, that's the excuse I'm using.
I first noticed that on a server room surveillance camera when I was working about 10 years ago. I saw myself on the surveillance camera. That can't be me. I'm not bald. The early days.
It's like a small sub-glimpse into the future.
Yeah.
You're not bald. Everybody else is hallucinating.
I'll go for that, yeah. I think that's the cameras as they are at the moment. But I jerry-rigged I think it's called an iGeek camera, the external ones, and it works really well.
I'm on my call.
And then you can see me on the in the desk. That's my little work office now.
Ah, fair enough.
And I've got my hidden camera that's inside a Russell Brand book that I happily gutted a couple of weeks ago.
No loss.
No.
Nice.
You can see my nice t-shirt.
Cool. I need to remind myself to never ask you to furnish a place with all those hidden cameras of yours.
I'm very honest about my cameras, except for the ones obviously that are hidden in the front room.
Uh-huh.
Sure.
I
Believe
did
it,
work
Tom.
on one for my dad. I've ordered a transparent solar cell that's supposed to pump out, well, it says 12 volts, but you know what they say. So if I can get it up to 3.5, I'm tempted to put a little ESP32 cam inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Then all I need to do is put the glass over a nice picture frame for my dad, and I can have it constantly streaming for my keeping an eye on him without him ever knowing. Only thing I need to do then is get a little Raspberry Pi on the side with something like iVideon or probably even Motion Eye, where it just pick up the signal and then shoot it online.
Raspberry Pis have got a lot to answer for, haven't they?
Yeah. I think I've got a few friends that have got like weird ones. There's that company in Hellsfield, is Info Team.
Mhm.
I know they used the first generation Raspberry Pis about 4 years ago to control all their gate systems. So it wasn't that hard to hack, technically. I wouldn't know. I haven't tried, but there was a lot of random opening and closings of that gate when the place was closed.
Yeah, they
Yeah,
are
that's
very
me.
flexible, but not suitable for everything, are they?
Yeah. And I've I think I made some rubber seals this week as well for the bathtub for the overflow.
I saw them. They
I
look
was-
really good.
Yeah, I was really surprised on how well it worked because it was the first attempt, and I thought that's not going to work well. So what I'm trying to do now is just use the 3D printer to make molds, and then just squeeze in the silica cork, then peel it out a few hours later, and it comes out with a perfect mold. Like it even had the print lines across it. It worked really well.
Brilliant.
That's good.
That's very,
The only-
very clever idea. Clever idea.
It was only because like Amazon didn't have the rings. I went into not Wilco's.
Wix.
I did actually check. That's it, Wix and B&Q, and I bought a whole packet of different type of O-rings and gaskets, and not one fitted, and none of them were in white, so it looked terrible around the that overflow.
Yeah, there's. I think there's a conspiracy there, because if you buy a couple of years ago, I had to replace some. We had our bathroom done, and the vanity sink. I lost a black washer. I mean, this thing's like 2.5 inch. You know, it's a big washer. It's a seal for the 2.5 inch pipe. Don't know where it went. No idea. So I had to go to B&Q to try and find another one. You can't buy them on their own. You've got to buy a sink pack, and you get like 9 other washers or 10 other washers you're never going to use, and only one of these small washers. It's ridiculous. Conspiracy. There you go.
We need to make our own
Handle
little.
like that.
We need to make our own little shop where you buy it and then you like repackage each individual thing and sell them on again.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then you'll get a backlog of things that people don't need.
There you go.
We'll dump it at Amazon Prime warehouse and let them sort it. I think that's me for the moment. I think my project for this next week will be getting this ESP32 cam smaller. So at the moment I've got the board as it is and the battery with its BSM, but I want to try and shrink it a little bit more with probably a thinner battery to get it to work inside of a little credit card. Not sure what I'm going to do with it yet, but you never know.
There is a wallet that you can buy called Voltaman, wallet.
Oh.
It was done on Kickstarter that actually had cameras built in. So if you lost your wallet, whoever opened it had their photograph taken straight away, and it was sent to the owner's phone. So as long as you didn't leave your wallet with your phone, you had a photograph of who stole your wallet.
It's not bad.
And GPS tracking and all sorts. Absolutely tons of features on this bloody small wallet.
Let's Google that later.
It's a good way to take selfies of your moments before regret.
Yeah.
You can put a different facial expression
Watch the
for
moth
each
open in Adam's
expenditure.
case,
Yeah.
And I think, what else am I going to work on next week? Oh yeah, I wanted to get my head around some shell scripting on Android as well, because my backup plan is if I can't get the Raspberry Pi to do the smart doorbell, I just get an old Android phone to do it.
Yeah.
So just pop a camera outside and then a microphone or Bluetooth speaker, and that should be enough. All I then need to do is get probably a 18650 where you push a button and then it triggers a webhook, which goes on Macrodroid on top of a Android, and then it hopefully I could just trigger an outgoing call, so Skype or something, to call me.
Would you need to root your Android for that?
Yeah, that's one of the other things I need to read up on. But I've got one or two really old ones. Well, I say old, but they're about 3 or 4 years old that I could risk running with a root to see how well I can do it.
From what I've heard, Android routing basically just depends on the model. There's some that people have, some people haven't. Depends on,
what
whether
patch could be available for it.
Yeah, whether people have had the motivation to do it and then obviously release it online.
I think that's pretty much everything. That and the table, which Ken ruined for me earlier. Thanks, Ken.
I'm sorry. Not sorry.
The missus told you to watch yourself. And that's me done.
Fair enough, fair enough. Welcome, Glenn. Sorry we didn't acknowledge your presence earlier.
Oh, hi, Glenn.
No worries.
You all right?
Yeah, not too bad. Thank you very much. Not too bad. Thought I'd just finished my dinner, so I thought I'd hop in and join in.
No worries. No worries. We set them a bit later because a lot of people ended up having their dinners. You been keeping all right? Been busy?
Yeah, I've been down in Felixstowe helping Mum move.
Fair enough. We won't bother asking you if you've made anything then.
No, I've had no access to anything and rubbish internet connection as well.
Well, that happens.
I've been trying to teach myself a blender.
Okay, that's cool. I never really got the hang of Blender. Never really tried.
I can't use it. I cringe whenever I try, but apparently once you get past the uphill battle of getting used to the user interface, apparently it's a very good application.
Steep learning curve kind of thing.
Yeah.
I had a friend that swore by it, but I spent an hour trying to get my head around it, and for me, if it takes longer than an hour to make something really basic, I then start giving up hope on it.
Yeah, I can't get my head around stuff that isn't made up of basic shapes, basically. If it's not parametric, I can't do it.
Well, the reason I want to learn it is because there's a Blender 2 FSX plugin.
Okay.
Which allows you to build a 3D model and then export it into Flight Simulator X.
Fair enough.
So I'm trying to learn Blender, but so I'm building a basic model. But in the end, I shall probably go and download one of the 3D models off the internet and see if I can import it that way.
See if you can convert it with Blender. Yeah.
I might have a friend I can reach out for with that, because I think that's what he used to do for army replicas for planes and Air Force.
Okay. Yeah.
And I definitely know he succeeded at getting his on a flight simulator, because that's what he used. So he'd design his own one.
Fair enough.
I think I was supposed to at some stage put an Arduinos on it so he can actually get tactile buttons on Flight Simulator, but we never got that far.
Yeah. Well, I have the military plugin. I never remember the name of it now, for FSX, which allows you to sort of deploy weapons and stuff like that. So
That's cool.
So I've got to, but it's kind of going to be a multi-stage project. So I've got to first learn how to use Blender, then export the model into FSX, and then plug all of the other systems like the radar and weapon systems in. So I think this is not going to be a short project. I think.
Yeah,
Seems
and then
like a project with a lot of sprints.
yeah.
Yeah.
Are you making the physical simulator as well, Glenn?
No, I shall use FSX.
Ah.
Oh, sorry, so the physical. Yeah.
Yeah.
Possibly. It depends how well I do.
Fair enough. Are you still working on your Abrams? Is it?
Abrams is on the back burner. There's two. I'd like to do an Apache, but the problem is there's no software out there to fly and fight it currently. But the other one is the Harrier, and also in DCS world, there's a couple of other people they're building the Milmi 24 behind, and they're also doing the MB 105 German Air Force one, and they're also doing another American chopper, which is hopefully coming out in the new year. So.
Interesting stuff.
Mm.
I'd love to have a go if you get one done. Although I'm probably
definitely.
crashing it.
Yeah, it's not going to cost you multi-billion pounds, though, is it?
No, it's not.
No.
Glenn's just going to charge you £10 a go. That's all.
Yeah.
So, Glenn, if you repurpose it for, say, drones, you could save a lot more money by getting people to train on the drones virtually before they crash their drone.
Yeah.
I wish I did that a few times.
I've got RAF Shawbury just on my doorstep, just around the corner from me, and that is the Defence Helicopter Training Centre. I see a lot of their helicopters flying around in twos and pairs, and I occasionally I think they service Apaches as well. So occasionally get a couple of Apaches flying in to be worked on.
Fair enough.
I thought Apaches were taken out of service because they're really old.
No, the Model D and probably the E is the latest gen. The A model is well old, but they've because it's such a good solid platform, they've upgraded it now to the E model, which is the Guardian, which actually can control fleets of drones.
Oh, that's cool.
So yeah, they can use the drones to target acquire, and then they can use either the drone missile capability or their own missile capability.
Neat.
And that's in Shrewsbury. A little bit worried about Shrewsbury now.
No,
Watersham
is the
Shrewsbury.
Yeah. No, Watersham, RAF Watersham is the Army Air Corps home.
Fair enough.
That's where they all operate from.
That's good. Shall I show off what I've been working on this week?
Go on.
Go for it.
Yes, please.
So, with the run up to Christmas, I've been working on 3D printed Christmas cards.
Oh, cool.
With a built-in hinge,
Okay.
which is pretty neat.
That's very clever.
This is just the first attempt. I picked up some red and some black sparkle. I don't know how well it'll pick up on camera, but
You're a bit pixelated at the moment.
Yeah, I think
it's got a slight
Me
sparkle to it in person. And I'm going to be borrowing some gold filament off of Andy, so that I can do the sort of leaves on the tree in gold, just to give it a bit more of extra Christmassy look. Which I can't. I don't have at the minute. It's just look, but the back one is fine, and I've made 5 copies so far to send to people.
nice.
How long do they take to print?
It's about 3 hours a side, 3-4 hours a side, with a colour change in the middle.
So Do you build with like a layer, one color, and then stop, and then build the extra layer on top of it?
I've been messing about with the M and G stuff, the M codes and that for Marlin.
Okay.
And I think it's printer dependent, but at least the Ender 3 uses M600 for a filament change command. So you insert an extra line with M600 at the layer that you want to change, and it will automatically home to the corner and retract the filament. And then you just put a new filament in, press the go button,
useful.
and it'll push the filament back through the nozzle and then do the next layer. You know, carry
So how
on
does it?
normal.
Do you get any bleed doing that?
No, actually, you when you do it with the M600 command, it purges the nozzle for about 100 mil, so it is quite a bit of waste, but
Right.
it ensures that there's no bleed across it.
Excellent.
That's cool.
But obviously,
Is there no
It's a
swipe
shame.
the filament, or do you clean it off as it's going backwards?
yeah. It won't resume printing until you've hit the OK button, so it feeds it through and then says, "Are you ready to start?" which gives you enough chance to pick off any excess.
Cool, and that's straight from the end.
Yeah,
run,
that's
no
stock.
option.
You don't have to do any modifications to the firmware
Good.
to get that.
I wonder if you could incorporate a little square or something off the main design, so it actually went and started printing that, so you wouldn't have to clear the filament off.
Yeah, you probably could do a purge tower, but I don't think it's really necessary for at least my design.
Yeah.
But because it purges automatically when you run the M600 command, it's not that big of a deal.
Okay.
But I've been messing about with, I think it's M0 and M1 commands as well, which is pause, which basically just stops the print where it is. And if you add a parameter to it, if it's M0 space N amount of seconds, then it will pause for that amount of time or until user input, which could be pretty handy in some situations, but most of the time it's just filament change.
There's that guy on YouTube, Make Anything, and he did about several different colors, because what he did is he'll have one G code to do one segment of color, and then he'll stop it, switch the filament, and let it carry on with the other print, and it was all done on one layer. So it made that was a Picasso Starry Night effect on a phone cover. And then once he did that first layer, he then put all the rest on top of it of one color.
Yeah,
that looked awesome. That did.
I haven't seen that. I'll have to have a look. But I think it's a very interesting effect to be able to do multicolored prints like this, especially when you add, text to it. So yeah, but I am pleased with how the hinge turned out as well, because the center pivot is literally just a straight piece of filament. It's just held in by friction, but it's a very neat fit. It doesn't wobble an awful lot.
Could you not have used like a indentation, like notches, to form the hinge?
Like what you
Like
do with laser cutting.
Snap-ins, notches.
Yeah, I could do. I haven't had too much. I haven't had many attempts at hinges in the past. This is probably the first successful one that I've done. But it's a technique that I think works really well. It's nice and rigid. It's only got 3 sections to it. It's not like it's a 5-leaf door bolt hinge.
It looks really good.
Yeah,
it's very clean and smooth.
Yeah, I was thinking about what other applications you could do for like a similar sized print. Maybe like a flat wallet or something. Who knows?
Well, I was planning on doing some lithophanes for Christmas gifts for family, so I was just going to get a family picture and lithophane it.
Yeah.
How deep do they have to be? Maybe you could build one of those into a card. Maybe even with a light source built in.
Yeah, I was thinking of making the leaf a bit thicker and integrating LEDs for Christmas lights on the tree.
Yeah, that could work. How thick are your lithophanes, Adam?
Not very. I've got a few on the wall.
Fair enough. I can't see your video feed. It's frozen on my screen.
Yeah, it's frozen on his face.
Am I still frozen, or am I?
Yeah.
Yeah, try restarting your camera. There we go.
Hey, there's life in the old buggy yet.
I got to put a torch on because the lithophane doesn't look very impressive without it yet.
Okay. That's it. Looks quite thin.
No, I'm just getting squares at the moment.
See,
yeah. No, you got too much of the light. Too much of the light going on.
Yeah, I'll take a picture and send it to you guys.
Okay.
I'll pop it on the chat.
But yeah,
When I find the other
because I found that lithophane maker
Hmm.
site, which was like wow, I like the light box. That's lovely.
The Lightbox ones, they're quite good. The Bell I did, quite impressed with that. I've got another print of those going at the moment. But yeah, it's weird because they print.
Which one do you guys use? Sorry.
Mine was the litho.com, I think it was.
Okay. I'm gonna pop my one on the show off zone because I use 3dp.rock/lithophane. That works alright. You can mess around with a lot of the parameters. Pop it in the chat so you guys can jump on it. If you send me the link, I'd like to jump on your.
Yeah, Glenn's put it lithophanemaker.com.
Yeah, that's a good one. That one. That's the Lightbox one's really good.
Oh, main chat. Sorry, I just switched. Use.
Oh right, okay.
It's interesting. It's good that there's a couple options out there.
Yeah, there's a fair few. They're quite useful.
Yeah.
Because my 3D printer's been quiet for a long time. So.
What do you have, Glenn? What printer is it?
I've got a Wanhao.
Oh yeah, an i3 is it? Fair enough.
One with the inbuilt screen, so you don't have the stupid little box to cart around and fall off and get tangled up with other stuff.
I see.
Just sent my lithophane.
Where did you put it, Adam?
Main chat. Might take a second to upload. There we go.
Wow.
Oh, that's pretty
cool.
good. Yeah.
Cool.
Incredible.
It's very small, like under credit card size.
Yeah.
So what's the thickness of that? Only a couple mil?
Yeah, barely that. I'd say the maximum thickness is probably 3 or 4 mil.
Okay.
Let me get the caliper and check.
Yeah, the thickness is gonna vary quite a lot, isn't it? But that's nice.
I think that's under 3 mil.
Yeah, that could easily
And like
fit into.
there's a line across it that's actually the fencing. So
yeah.
I had any defects off of it. But I've noticed with lithophanes, for some reason, it's the lower the temperature, the nicer it comes out.
Yeah.
So I try to keep the temperature lower than I would normally do, because normally I try to increase the temperature to increase fusing. But yeah,
fair enough.
I think that's out of the CR10, but it was one of those quick filaments. I think it's the Mahoney one I tried as well. That works very well. There's a lot less stringing in that one.
That's cool. I think that would easily fit onto my sort of card design. They're about 2.5, 3 mil thick.
Could always do a collaboration of it where you get like that as the frame and then pop the lithophane into it.
That could definitely work, yeah. We should
get some decent LED paper or something behind it, make it really thin.
Yeah, or just on the back page, just say "shine a light through me."
Yeah.
Yeah, if you put it on a window
riddle on it or something.
But yeah, we could definitely give that a go. I wouldn't mind modifying.
I think I was working on a little dome one to see what I could pop on it to make little baubles and stuff for work.
Fair enough.
I've got some white filament. I haven't checked to see if it's translucent at all. Do you think that would work?
It don't need to be translucent.
And any light filament's perfect.
Did you see that bell I did? You've all seen the bell, haven't you? The litho bell.
Yeah, I've seen the bell, Paul.
That was standard white PLA.
Cool.
Pop it in the main chat for everyone.
God, again, I gotta find it.
Sorry.
Uh,
We're just trying to keep it all in the same context, mate.
yeah. I'm just trying to find. I have to find it again. And
It's
in the
okay.
main chat.
I'm scrolling around looking for it.
Yeah.
It was a while back in the show-off zone, I think.
Was it the show? So I did a video, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, the big video
YouTube.
wouldn't upload. It said your video's too powerful. Yeah, right.
I love it when it says that.
It's just your files are too powerful. Go away.
I'm doing a snippet of it now, and I'll pop it on the chat.
Didn't I do? Yeah, I think I did a YouTube thing of it as well, didn't
Yeah,
I?
you did. You did.
Yeah.
Yeah, a really nice video. Okay.
There you goes. You done it? Have you found it?
Yep. I'm just making a snippet of it and then putting the picture back on. It's probably going to tell me the picture's too powerful, but yeah.
Probably.
Main chat. See? The one. There you go.
Yeah, that's the one.
Ah,
And that was just done with your standard sort of white filament, was it?
Bog standard white filament. No changes to anything.
I think I used silver PLA. That works really nicely. Silk purple works really nicely. Like the silk purple, I love the silk purple coming out really shiny.
Yeah.
Oh, I do have some silk silver PLA plus that I'm struggling with. If you want it, Emily, I could drop off with you.
There's
yeah,
the
that could
video.
be good. I'm happy to give that a shot. It'll always help out with
I struggled with it strength wise, but if you're fusing with something else, you should be good with it.
Yeah,
Oh, and I also
watch the
managed to
video.
crack
The chat.
the
Sorry, Hannah, go.
Sorry, you go. I
No, sorry. Yeah.
was gonna say I also managed to headbutt a brick wall on Friday, so nice big dent across my head.
See,
Not
if you
a very
weren't the
good
ball,
idea.
you'd be all right.
Met me, right? I'm only big in personality, mate.
Yeah. If you guys watch the video, the second video that pops up of Mendip of Brooklyn Raceway on my video feed.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's if you let the video play in main chat and end, it'll display the next one on my video feed, which is it's all to do with remote control cars and stuff.
Yeah.
I was one of the first people in the UK really to do a fifth scale remote control car that was full electric. Because normally a fifth scale car's got a 2-stroke petrol engine in it. And
DJ RS5 one ball round 2.
Yes. Or yeah, one well or Brooklyn. Any one of the two. I think there's 3 or 4 videos there actually. But yeah, that's it.
Fair enough. For fifth scale, you could probably ride it, couldn't you?
It would quite happily pull you, no problem at all. In fact, that was actually a petrol car. It was. Let me just get the right video.
Sorry, guys, I may have to disappear at some stage. I heard a huff.
There you go.
Yeah, no worries.
FG electric Mini, Brooklyn.
She who must be obeyed.
That's it, the boss. There you go. God, over 10 years ago I did this. Jesus.
I'd say you looked so young, but I can't see you yet.
No, I'm driving.
You sat on it.
You're in there? Wow, you were really
Nah.
small. But
I was driving this FPV, mate.
wow.
wow.
Fair enough.
Hence why I came off every now and again.
That outshined
Oh,
any RC cars I've made in the past.
Yeah, this thing with the electric one is a rear-wheel drive car that had about 26 brake horse,
Okay.
0 to 60 in just under a second.
What's that in watts?
And that's not scale speed, is it?
No, that's full speed. That's real speed.
I'm dropping off,
Well-
guys. I'll catch you soon.
Yeah,
Come
no
back.
worries, Adam.
Thank you
Have
for
a good
that.
evening.
Um,
Cheers, Adam.
I guess.
this
See you later.
the electric motor. I think it's about an 800 watt motor. They were used originally for electric planes.
Ah.
They're 3-phase motors. You had a three-phase speed controller, which was about the size of a Raspberry Pi with a dirty, great big heatsink on it to attempt to keep it cool. But they were amazing, so quick. I burnt through so many batteries. I had a deal with a Chinese battery maker because I was buying so many batteries. I was buying more battery cells than some of the top importers into the UK because I was trying to get the right balance of capacity and power to do a 30-minute final, which these cars were being built to do. And we spent, it was over $6,000 in 1 month just on batteries. And back in 2010, that's a lot of batteries. We were getting boxes of batteries delivered every single day. It was just crazy.
Is that?
These were nickel metal hydrides.
Oh, okay.
We were playing with all sorts of different things. One guy even had one with Duracells in it, D-cells. A lot of them. It didn't last very long, but we had cars burst into flames because we didn't do protection properly on them.
Yeah.
We had all sorts, but the main thing about it was to get rid of the noise of two-stroke petrol engines because they're not quite. I mean, the noise limit at the time was 98 dB at I think it was 10 meters. I think
that's pretty loud.
Yeah, and when you've got 20 on a track, that's no bigger than a table than a table tennis table, than a tennis court. That's a lot of noise in one place for a long time. So we were trying to. Yeah. We were really trying to push the boundaries on what we can and can't do with technology at the time.
The downside to batteries is they have a much lower energy density than petroleum.
Oh yeah.
But
what about small scale hydrogen cells now? How available are those?
I don't know.
Price-wise, not very. I looked into one probably about 4 years ago, and to have any sort of power production, you're looking at £1,000 to £2,000.
Wow.
As to produce a kilowatt.
$6,000.
Well, yeah, but then you also need a bottle that can actually hold hydrogen, because hydrogen has a habit of getting away.
Yeah. So you'd need a compressed hydrogen storage system as well.
Yes, which is also expensive.
Hold it for very long.
Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. I need to get back into making remote control models, I think. I did an interesting 8-wheeled APC once. It's part of work, but meant to be used for shows and things. And basically all of it was 3D printed. Didn't go very fast, but it wasn't really meant to.
Well, not meant to, no.
It's for showing off, not for racing. Could still do about. I think we measured about 9.5 meters a second, whatever that is in miles an hour. But that's reasonably fast for a 2-foot long vehicle.
Yeah. What kind of weight you looking at?
About 8 kilos, all in all.
That'll take you off your feet.
It certainly will if it hits you.
Yeah, that's the same with our cars. Those cars were like that. They'll quite happily knock you off your feet.
We toned it down to about 30% throttle in the end to get about 2 meters a second. But it was so torquey.
It's about 20 miles an hour. It's about 20 miles an hour.
Yeah,
wow.
Yeah. It was pretty nippy for an 8-wheeled vehicle that was 2 foot long. Really impressive stuff. I can't wait until they eventually release some comms. I'll be sharing that to the moon and back. Because it's damn impressive, the amount of detail we got on the model, as well as the performance of it as well.
Right.
It could climb literally anything that was half wheel height, or wheel radius, I should say.
Cool.
You know, I think we managed to get it to stay on like a 50-degree slope with the motors running.
All right,
Which is
so the motor was just literally keeping it stationary.
Yeah,
Right.
but it could climb 45 degrees as well, which is probably more than the real vehicle could, to be fair. But I'll have to try and share some pictures when they get put out. But knowing COVID, it won't be until mid next year.
Mm.
But damn good project for $2,000, excluding people's time, of course.
Of course.
You know, if it was people's time, it'd be looking more like $10,000, I think, now. But I might build a 6-wheeled or an 8-wheeled vehicle. It would be pretty interesting. Multiple wheels is always interesting, I think.
Oh yeah.
More than 4. Impractical, for the most part, but still pretty interesting. Oh yeah, Dave, what have you been working on? We forgot to ask you.
Not much. I did get a new toy, well, second-hand, industrial Dymo label printer. This thing will print onto shrink-wrap tubing, so you can get a variety of sizes, which you can get knockoff ones really cheap from China as well, so you don't have to pay like £15-25 for the official stuff. So that's going to make my project nice and well labelled.
Yeah.
Project I'm about to start is my laser etcher. It's got like a really cheap, boring control board with no spare GPIOs, and I want to use Trinamic drivers on in SPI mode. So I'll use a separate controller for that to configure them. But what I want to do is have an LCD screen, just one of these little ones that you can get for next to nothing.
The little 16x2 things, is it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something like that. And display the output, like monitor the amperage and like temperature alarms, temperature itself, all of the stepper motors and stuff like that. Maybe even have some form of control on it so I can dynamically switch between stealth chop mode and hybrid mode and stuff. So that's going to be really cool, and in theory quite simple. You just issue an SPI command and then you can poll it for the current stats, and it's completely separate from the main laser controller, so it should work on any system. You just plug it in to the little headers that you get on the Trinamic breakout board. So that'll be fun. I don't know if I'll ever get time for it. I haven't really done anything in the last week, so it's going to be at this rate June before I get anywhere near it. And I wanted this so I could do some etching of some Christmas decorations, as I think I mentioned last week. So yeah, we'll see how that goes.
Fair enough. It looks like it's still going to be interesting either way.
It'll be fun. I'll learn something along.
How powerful's your laser on your etcher?
Oh well, it says that it's 2.5 watts, which means it's probably 1 watt. China and all that.
One of these diode things, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah, just a UV one. It's it cut cardboard, and I just did some basic etching on a lollipop stick, and it almost burnt through it. So I think it could probably cut through like 2 millimeters of soft wood.
Fair enough.
What other materials have you tried it on?
Just cardboard, paper, and thin soft wood at the moment, and I haven't actually done anything really with it. I still haven't fixed the problem where the laser comes on full power every time you switch it on.
Yeah, that's probably not good.
Yes, that's ideal. Especially if your hand's in the way.
Yeah,
You're only going to do that once.
I think there's a video on YouTube of somebody giving themselves a laser tattoo.
Sounds painful.
Yeah, I think it's more like scarification, really, and I don't think it worked out too well. Anyway, that's me.
Yeah, exactly.
Have you managed to interface any of your? Because I knew you were working on your flight instruments, weren't you?
Yeah, making progress on that, but it's all still on breadboards, and a lot of it's theoretical. I'm still having, well, because I've sort of, and I'm a bit embarrassed to say, I've dropped X-Plane 11, even though it's the better simulator for Microsoft Flight Simulator 20, because it's pretty and shiny. So I'm at the moment getting my head around the SimConnect API, which isn't even finished on that release. I think they're on 8 now, so getting there, but still so many things missing, and it's just a bit of a steep learning curve for me. Yeah, it's fun.
Fair enough. Speaking of simulators, I tried an interesting one in VR. It was very alpha, let's say. I think it was an F-16. The UI UX stuff was very arcadey. It was literally just select with a stick and pull the trigger to do the action, whether that's gears or hook or whatever it's going to be. But the flight dynamics were actually pretty realistic. I mean, I don't know what it compares to IRL. I've never actually flown a plane, but it seemed pretty realistic. You know, you could go into stalls and flat spins that were pretty difficult to recover from, and interesting stuff like that. Isn't bad for a free demo in VR. But
was that on the PC?
Pardon?
Was that on the PC?
Yeah. It's through an app called VR Chat, which is more of a social thing.
I've heard of that. Yeah.
But there's worlds, they call it, which have different games and that kind of thing. And there's a whole bunch of Unity integration and that kind of thing, so that you could potentially do entire flight simulators in it.
Wow.
And yeah, the one I tried was on a carrier with a couple of F-16s, and you could use the catapult and whatever, and then the hooks to land. Most people can't do it.
Cool.
I'd managed to land a couple of times, but it's great fun just having that experience in VR. If it weren't for the lack of tactile feedback, it'd be a great sim. I'm sure some people have put VR plus a full cockpit together.
Yeah.
I don't know about.
Do you plug your?
Pardon?
Go on, Ken.
Sorry, go on.
Go on, Ken.
I don't know about flight sims with the full cockpit, but I've seen a lot of people setting up driving simulators with a full cockpit and an Oculus.
Yeah, that seems like a good avenue as well, I think.
Yeah, there's less control.
And having actuators move the chair around with pitch and yaw.
Yeah, as with most simulators, it's just how much money do you want to throw at it, or how much time.
Not how much you want to, how much you're able to.
How much you're able to.
Yeah.
I've seen a.
Do you actually plug the headset in, do you, or do you use it?
I use the standalone Quest 2 headset. I do want to get a PC capable of doing higher end VR stuff in the future, but at the end of the day, it's money, you know. But I did think of developing stuff for VR. Just Oculus Quest isn't the most open platform for it at the minute.
Yeah.
I would definitely want to get a higher powered computer before I tried doing that.
Yeah.
Juggling with Facebook's developer mode or whatever it is going to be a right nightmare, so I'm like, not going to bother. Not for the time being. But yeah, simulators and that kind of thing would work really well in VR. If you can handle the motion sickness.
Yeah.
Does the headset integrate with Steam at all?
Yes, it does. I have had a...
Because there's an interesting...
Go on.
There's an interesting one I just posted in the main chat, which has just come out, which looks very good.
Oh yeah, Project Wingman. I've heard of that. It sounds very arcadey. So good flight physics. Obviously realistic planes and that, but you get more than 4 missiles.
Yeah.
I do think I need to have a go with that. That Project Wingman does sound really good from what I've seen. It's like have you heard of the Ace Combat series of games?
Yeah.
Yes.
I am a fan of
You
Ace
know, I've got a
Combat.
couple.
I haven't played one since Ace Combat 2 on the PlayStation 2, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it is real good fun, Ace Combat. It's all about the flight characteristics that make it so good.
Because sometimes you just want to hop in a plane and have a fly. You don't want to spend 3 hours starting the thing up from cold and dark.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
talking to ATC and
Yeah, exactly, all of that stuff. But does anyone else have any interesting projects that we haven't talked about yet?
I've started going down the route of building a brushless DC motor.
Okay.
I've ordered some ferromagnetic filament from America. That stuff's expensive.
Yeah, I imagine it is. So, what's the plan with using that filament then? Have you given?
I'm going to print the armature with it. I'm going to do it so the armature has the magnets on it. So I'm going to put the filament on the armature rather than the outside part. I forgot what it's called.
Yeah.
Stator, yeah. Although I think it would be better on the stator. The problem is it's only a 500-gram roll of filament. So I have a funny feeling there's not going to be a lot on it.
You could probably. Are you designing an in-runner or an out-runner motor? So the stator on the inside or the outside?
In-runner.
Okay.
In-runner. The magnetic part is going to be on the inside. The wires are on the outside.
Because I was going to suggest if you're limited by the amount of ferromagnetic material, you would probably be better with an in-runner design with the magnets on the outside on the rotor.
The thing is, I wanted to have the shaft spin, then I can put a gear on it. Although I suppose I could put a gear on the
on an outrunner.
Yeah,
it's
a bigger gear though.
The main thing is it's just harder to mount in-runner motors because you've only got one face to mount to instead of two faces, or the outside.
Yeah,
but that's interesting. That I want to see how the ferromagnetic material, how would you make the layers in the core of the motor with the ferromagnetic material? Because I presume normally they are insulated between the plates, and I don't know whether the layers of the 3D print would be enough insulation for that, or whether you would need to do, say, a layer of ferromagnetic, then a layer of PLA, for example, then another layer of ferro.
That's an interesting thought. And if I did it like that, it would have the added benefit of spreading the filament out, so I might be able to print both parts like that.
Yeah, because you ideally don't want an entire block of ferromagnetic material because of eddy currents and that kind of thing.
It would be better set up with a dual head printer, though.
It probably would. You wouldn't want to deal with filament changes every couple of minutes.
Yeah.
But
the reason I went with an American seller rather than a British seller is the difference of about £20.
Okay. Less expensive with the American one, I take it.
The American one is a lot less expensive. 500 grams I found in the UK for £40 plus shipping, and in the US it was about $59 plus shipping, and the shipping was negligible and different.
Okay. That's interesting. Would be interesting to see. I definitely would be interested to see where that how well that ferromagnetic material performs.
I'm also tempted to print it first with standard PLA to make sure I can actually make it work.
Yeah. I mean, you wouldn't have a lot of performance at all without a core. Because that's what does the majority of the work with getting motor power densities down. You know, when
Yeah.
you're talking custom-made electric vehicle motors and that kind of thing, you're literally talking maybe not even 0.1 mil layers of ferromagnetic material with microns of insulation between the plates.
The other thought is I could just get a lot of sheet metal from the scrapyard in the form of microwaves and cut the core out of a microwave sheet metal.
Yeah, that could work. Are we talking about the like reusing the transformer, like the layers in the transformer?
Well, I suppose I could, but I was actually thinking of the actual sheet metal that makes up the outside of the microwave.
Yeah, I think you'd need to be careful because of the composition of it. I think
yes,
ferrous metal typically has less carbon.
Yeah, it has a lot less carbon. It's silicon and iron.
Mm-hmm.
It's ferrite.
Yeah, but lots of room for thought there, I think.
But the ferrous magnetic filament is only iron, no silicon involved.
Interesting. I mean, I take it there's a lot of what would the plastic be for the rest of the filament? PLA?
It's PLA.
Fair enough. I wondered if it'd be PETG or something like that. But yeah, I did.
No, PLA.
I did wonder about the sort of metallic filaments. You know, 3D prints is silver and gold filament, for example. Like, do they actually use that much, or is it just a combination of pigments and mica and that kind of thing? I don't know. Is there any aluminium filaments around? Do you know?
I've not seen any, but that doesn't mean there aren't.
Guys, I'm going to have to leave it, I'm afraid.
Yeah, no worries, Paul.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
Have a good evening.
Yeah. Good evening. Pleasure to speak to you all again. I'll speak to you soon.
See you next week.
Cheers. Take care.
Bye-bye.
But yeah, I think aluminium would look really good if you could get an aluminium finished PLA filament. Yes. Oh yeah, Ken. You were talking about that insert press tool.
Yes.
The throat on it. So the way I've designed it is it's just that upright there that determines the throat of the thing. So
right.
you basically can just make that 2040 extrusion as long as or as short as you wanted to increase the overall throat on it. And obviously there is a table that can go up and down that if you need a shorter throat. Or you can adjust the head, of course.
I wanted to put a 20 centimeter long I-beam, for lack of anything else to call it, and put inserts in the end of it, and then bolt into it from the next piece along. Then I could open source making the chassis for the quad.
Yeah.
And people could just print it on a regular printer without needing a big printer.
Yeah, something like that would work quite well. The way I've got this at the minute is about 25 centimeters of distance there with it at full depth, with about 50 mil of travel on it. I mean, this is still a prototype. I still need to make the return spring, for example. But as I say, it's pretty modular. You just make that as long as you want.
Awesome.
Yeah, but there's plenty I need to finish on this.
And that's used to heat up brass inserts to push into. So you put the brass insert around the.
I don't have any inserts handy, but yeah, normally the little typical brass inserts with a thread on the middle and then a knurled bit around the outside. So you can just press fit them into 3D printed parts to give it reliable threads.
But
but they typically perform better if they're heated and pressed at the same time. You can get insert press tools, but they're typically for industrial applications, and you're talking, 1,000 plus pounds.
Yeah.
Whereas this is literally just all done on an Ender 3 with a few fixings and a couple of bits of aluminium extrusion, so you can make it for not even £100.
Yeah.
One reel of filament, a soldering iron, and a meter of aluminium extrusion, and you've got this basically.
And then you place your plastic pipe on the bed.
Yeah, so the plastic bed of mine broke, so I don't have it, but it's just a knob on the back, and you can slide the entire bed up and down to get the height that you want, and then you just press it in with a soldering iron.
Yeah.
I've just been balancing them on the tip of my TS100 and then pushing them in.
Yeah, I got bored of that. I got very bored and irritated by that. I don't know.
So the heat soften, pressing the brass insert, it heats the plastic up, and then when it cools, it seals around it.
That's right. Yeah.
Right,
I had Chris turn up a little custom iron tip for me. So it's got a hole in the back to go over the heating element, and then the major diameter on the tip is the minor diameter of the threads, so it keeps it square to the iron.
Brilliant.
When you push it in.
Yeah.
I've only got one for M4 inserts at the minute, though. I need to get the rest. Which is unfortunately makes this a bit difficult of a project if you have to say you need someone with a lathe to do it. But it really helps keeping the insert square to the tool, which is the biggest bugbear of using those inserts. I'm sure Dave can attest.
Yeah.
I've not really done a great deal with them, so I've been lucky so far. But I can imagine it would be.
When you're spending upwards of 5-10 minutes trying to get a fiddly M2 insert into a part, it's much easier to get a tool like this if you're doing lots of them.
Mm.
Yeah, because if you've 3D printed and cut a plastic thread, it's soon going to wear out, isn't it?
Yeah.
If you're screwing it and unscrewing it all the time.
Yeah, if it's something that's intended to be screwed in and out lots of times, I would definitely suggest a brass insert.
Yeah.
Even a captive nut would wear itself away, or slip through the plastic or something like that. But for most applications, it can be a bit overkill. But sometimes it just adds that professional edge to a print. If you're doing an electronics enclosure or something like that. I tend to use them. I've got probably about 1,000 inserts of various sizes.
Technology Outlet has aluminium filament. It's 15% aluminium with a binding polymer. Don't know what it is though.
Okay, I'll have to look into that, because I think the finish would be really nice if you sanded it back.
Yeah, well, it's only 15%. So they have aluminium, brass, bronze, copper, and gold.
Okay.
How much does a gold one cost?
Yeah. Even 15% gold would be a lot, I think.
It's $29.94. I don't know how much is on the spool.
Gold colour.
Kilogram spool.
Probably fool's gold and mica or something like that.
It's 15% metal particulate matter with a binding polymer.
Interesting.
Yeah, 0.15 kilograms. So it'd be 150 grams of gold would probably be around £200-300.
Yeah. I don't think that's real gold. Unless they're making a severe loss on the sale of each reel.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's certainly not 24 carat, is it?
Yeah, exactly.
They saw 24 carat and went to the supermarket and got 24 carats and used those to make it.
Ba-boom.
Right, I think with that awful pun, we'll end it here, shall we?
Yeah, sounds like.
Okay. Have a good evening.
Yeah, enjoy your evenings, everyone. I'll see you around.
Yeah.
All right.
Bye,
See ya.
guys.
Bye now.
Bye now.